Scutelliphily is a Latin term, and it basically means collection of little patches or little badges. Patches are symbols, they're meaningful. I think Scutelliphily is about someone who brings them all together and has kind of like a mass collection of them and is interested in building a huge sort of collection of patches. If we look at like traditional ideas of patches, policemen wear patches, military people wear patches, teams wear patches. It has an ability to show being part of the group or being one with a group. But I think also then we saw with like the riot girls and the punks, making your own patch was a way to show that you were different, or to like align yourself with a smaller subculture and show that you're different from the norm. So I think it has many different applications, and if you look in this show, there's people who are playing with all of those different ideas as well. I think there's quite a few different artists in this exhibition that are playing with political ideas. So we have one artist who did a piece that's kind of like feminist overtones. It has like a raised fist with like long red fingernails, and it also has poinsettias that are like bleeding in the background, and so there's a lot of symbolisms in there. But it's called ritual descent, and it's basically about how you need to descent and make it a ritual until things change. So you just keep going and going and going until there's change. Craftivism is like a combination of art, craft, and activism. So it's not pretty, it's not functional anymore. It doesn't have the same ideas that it originally did. It's almost grotesque, it's overwhelming. And so what you're kind of doing with craftivism is taking technologies that are very familiar and easy to do, and you can buy the materials usually at a thrift store, so they're affordable, and taking it out into the world and using that to make a message. So a really good example of that is recently in Washington at the Women's March, there were the pink cat hats. That was a really effective way to use craftivism because anyone could download that pattern, and you don't even need a pattern. It's super simple, like knitting practice. Bright pink yarn, and people did it all over the world, and it was a really visual way to show. Like if you saw the footage over Washington, it was pink. It was just like completely pink. I think also Catherine Boyer's might be considered craftivism. It deals with a heavy and intense kind of topic. It's speaking to the Battle of Batoche, and her piece is like a Google image map of where Batoche is, and then rendered in beading and surrounded by beaver pelt. And so she's kind of talking about like Métis identity and that like very kind of violent colonial situation where Louis Riel was captured. And so I think she's immersed something that can be uncomfortable for settler colonialists, but she's made it in such an appealing way that people are immersed. They want to come in, they want to look at it, and then they have to sit and think, like, what does this actually mean? What are we talking about here? And they're kind of confronted with something that they might not be so interested in dealing with, but you kind of have to once you get in there. And I mean, that's why a lot of artists will work with fiber-based technologies and craft-based technologies, because as human beings, we're used to wearing clothing, and we're used to drinking from a cup. We're used to like touching ceramics, we're used to touching fiber all the time because we clothe ourselves in it, we sleep in it. It's very familiar to us. And so if you're wanting to play with difficult ideas, working with fiber or ceramics or any kind of craft technology is a really easy way to get people instantly comfortable and then kind of push them a little bit after that. I want them to kind of walk away thinking about their ideas about craft and their ideas about art, and maybe seeing less of a line drawn between the two as they walk away, and thinking more about how these two things can intersperse, and also how art can move off of the wall of the gallery and into daily life a little bit more. Scutelliphily.
If you have program ideas that you'd like to see on Max TV Local On Demand, write us at max.local@sastel.com.